Good day everyone, my name is Ayon Blur Tupas. Today we talk about emotional interaction, designing interactive experiences with heart, exploring the role of emotion in user experience. Next, we have an introduction. What is emotional interaction? It's something you learn how systems respond to your emotions, you study how design influences how you feel while using a system, you see how emotion shapes satisfaction and engagement. Definition: the study and design of how interactive systems can recognize, respond to, and influence user emotion. Emotion and user experience. How emotion impact user satisfaction, engagement, and overall experience. Designing for positive emotional responses. Strategies for creating systems that evoke joy, trust, and other positive feelings. Traditional HCI versus emotional interaction. From efficiency and effectiveness to user emotion. Evolution of HCI to include emotional considerations. The limitation of traditional HCI in addressing user emotions. Importance of emotional interaction. Enhance user satisfaction. Emotional design leads to more satisfied users, boosting user-related positive emotional experience, foster loyalty. Improving user well-being. System design with empathy can improve mental and emotional health. And next, we have emotion and user experience. How emotion influence user behavior. Emotion Emotion shapes how you behave when you use a system. Stress hurts problem solving. Joy improves focus and creativity. You use Norman's 3 levels to understand emotional design. First is visceral level. Definition: immediate precognitive reaction to look and feel of a design. Example: attractive aesthetics and pleasing sensory experience. Example is what you see, feel, and hear. Behavior level. Definition: the pleasure and effectiveness of use. Example: smooth functionality, ease of use, performance. And the highest level is a reflective level. Definition: conscious thought and rationalization about the product. Example: brand image, personal memories, and cultural meaning. Case study WUFO online forms, enhancing user experience through playful design. How WUFO uses humor and visual appeal to make form feeling enjoyable. A specific example of playful elements in WUFO. WUFO uses colors, humor, and friendly text to make form feeling lighter and easier. These small details raise motivation and reduce stress while completing tasks.
So moving on to the next slide, I'll be discussing expressive interfaces. Definition of expressive interfaces is communicating emotional states through colors, icons, sounds, etc. Using interface elements to convey emotion. For example, we can see this in color psychology, where color influences mood, or in emotive icons and expressive typography that helps convey tone and intention. Now, role of expressive interface: providing feedback using animation and sounds to confirm actions, enhancing enjoyment, adding playful elements to make interactions more fun. Potential issues: over intrusive balancing expression with user comfort. Friendly interface: Microsoft Bob, an attempt and a failure. Overview of Microsoft Bob's design and goals. Reasoning for its failure: clutter interface, intrusive design. Clippy and controversy. Overview of Clippy's functionality and user reactions, and why Clippy was both loved and hated: helpfulness versus annoyance. Now let's move on to the opposite: frustrating interfaces. Design choices that negatively affect user experience. Common causes of user frustration. There are several reasons why user gets frustrated. 1. Application crashes, unfulfilled expectations, and lack of information. These disrupt user workflow and create confusion. Second, poor error message. Vague, obscure, condemning how bad error message frustrate users. Third, interface design. Garish, noisy, gimmicky. Over-designed interfaces that detract from usability. And avoiding gimmicks. Focus on functionality, prioritizing usability over flashy features, using testing, gathering feedback to ensure a smooth experience. Now, improving error messages. Schneiderman's guideline for error message design. Clear, accurate, and constructive error messages. Second, providing clear, accurate, and helpful error message. Examples of good and bad error messages.
So for today's topic, we will be discussing the emotion detection technologies. Emotion detection technologies, GSR, facial expression, gestures, body movements, different methods for detecting user emotion. How each technology works and its limitation. Facial coding, analyzing user facial expression by a webcam, using software to interpret facial expression. Identifying 6 core emotion: sadness, happiness, fear, surprise, anger. The basic emotion recognized in facial coding. Application for emotion data. Adjusting content based on user emotional state. Personalized content based on detected emotion. Examples: adaptive learning systems, emotion-aware advertising. Indirect emotion detection. Application in recruitment, election, etc. Using emotion data in various fields. Discussion in privacy issues, ethical consideration, and potential misuse of emotion data. So next is the persuasive technologies and behavior change. Persuasive technologies involve using technology to influence user behavior and attitudes. Ethical considerations are crucial in the design of such technologies. Common techniques include the pop ads, warning messages, reminders, and personalized information. Understanding the psychology behind these techniques is essential for their effective implementation. A case study example is Nintendo Pocket Pikachu, which aimed to motivate children to exercise through a virtual pet. Comparing interactive and non-interactive methods helps determine the most effective persuasive approaches. Identifying the factors that contribute to the success of persuasive technologies is also vital. So in brief explanation, emotion detection technologies involve various methods like GSR, facial expression, gestures, and body movements to detect user emotion. These technologies analyze user facial expression by a webcam, identifying the 6 core emotions: sadness, happiness, disgust, fear, and surprise and anger. Application of emotion data include adjusting content based on the user emotional state, such as in adaptive learning, advertising. Indirect emotion detection is also utilized in areas like recruitment and elections. Finally, discussion on privacy issues address the ethical consideration and potential misuse of emotion data.
Next is tracking devices. Mobile application. Tracking apps monitor different aspects of users' behaviors like fitness, sleep, and weight to help improve health routines. Example, fitness trackers, sleeping monitoring apps, and diet apps. Next is online leaderboard charts. Apps often use gamification, adding game-like features such as ranking, badges, and progress charts to motivate. Benefits: encourages user to compete, improve, and stay consistent. Potential drawbacks of gamification is stress, anxiety, and privacy concern. Next is energy visualization. Some devices shows user how much electricity they are using in real time to promote energy saving. Example, Power Aware Cord, Watson, and Tidy Street Project. So next is phishing and trust. So what is phishing? Phishing is a cyber attack technique where scammers pretend to be trustworthy people or organizations to trick users into giving personal information such as password, bank details, or private data. So how users get deceived? Phishers use psychological tricks and fake interfaces to make victims think they are interfacing with a real website or person. So example for this is fake emails and fraudulent website. So how to build user trust in interfaces? Designer must create interfaces that feel safe and credible by using. These are transparency, security, and reliability.
So what is anthropomorphism? So it is attributing humans' characteristic to inanimate object. It is also giving human traits to non-human entities. It is also the psychology behind itself and an application itself in HCI. So anthropomorphism is making interfaces more friendly and engaging. How it can improve user experience? Well, it is through virtual assistant, chatbot, and other online app that we can use in our daily lives. So according to a case study, it is somehow a welcome messages or error feedbacks, and some evidence supporting anthropomorphism is came from the research by Reeves and Nass. So the study shows that people respond to computer as they were human, and also there is criticism of anthropomorphism. So it is the potential for deception, anxiety, and inferiority. So actually, it is the downside of anthropomorphism, and it is also ethical, and there is also ethical concerns in user. So now that we're done discussing the anthropomorphism, let's move on to another one or another part, which is the virtual characters. So it is the sales agent, game characters, or learning companions. So these are the different types of virtual characters and their roles. For example, we have virtual assistants, game NPCs, and educational avatar advantages of virtual characters. So it is providing personal experiences, enhancing user engagement. So how virtual characters can improve user interaction? So it is through creating a sense of connection and a rapport. So now let's talk about the disadvantages of virtual characters. So if we have advantages, we also have disadvantages. So disadvantages are the potential to mislead users or decreasing trust, risk of using virtual characters, so unrealistic expectation and ethical concern. So that's the risk. So virtual agents. So let's talk about the virtual agents. Well, it is also part of being a virtual character. So, virtual agents, behavior, style, and emotional expressions of virtual agent. So these are the key elements designing effective virtual agents. So how to make virtual agent believable? So first, you have appearance design. The next one is behavior design, and the last one is the facial expressions and gestures.
So, robot pets. Different types of robot pets. Robot-like versus cuddly. Exploring different design approaches. Example, Aibo, Paro, Play. User preferences. Which type of robot pets do users prefer? Why? Understanding user preferences and motivations. Factors and influencing user acceptance and attachment. So, in different types of robot pets are designed to mimic companionship, but they are very widely in form and function broadly. Broadly, they fall into two categories. So, robot pets, this emphasizes mechanical or futuristic artistic. Cuddly, this focus on softness, comfort, and emotional support rather than mechanical. Emotional states and interface design. Interface design and user emotional states. How should interface adapt to different user emotional states? Designing adaptive interface that respond to user emotions. So, adapting to emotions. Interface should recognize or anticipate emotional states like stress, frustration, or anxiety, and adjust accordingly. This can be done through biometric sensors, user behavior patterns. So, example, adjusting the interface based on stress level, providing support for anxious user. Leisure versus serious task. So, how should interface design differ from different task types? Tailoring interfaces to the specific context and goals. Leisure task. Interface can be playful, colorful, and exploratory. So in serious task, interfaces should prioritize efficiency, clarity, and reliability. So example for this is designing playful interfaces for entertainment, creating efficient interfaces for work. So overall, our topic talks about the importance of emotional interaction, review of key concepts, expressive interfaces, persuasive technology, anthropomorphism, virtual characters, future trends, affective computing, personalized user experiences, emerging trends in emotional interaction, and last one is the future of emotion aware technology. So that's all. Thank you.